Head coach Sheldon Keefe gave Joseph Woll some massive praise ahead of tomorrow night's matchup against the Washington Capitals and gave some insight into who their starting goaltender might be going forward. So break that down in this episode of Leaf Digest, as well as Fraser Minten. He might be getting sent down sooner than we think. So break all that down. So make sure you stay tuned for this episode. And let's just get right into it. There's a lot of crazy news to break down in this video. So let's just start with it. And Keefe and Max Domi both praised Woll over the past couple of days. And obviously, Joseph Woll had a phenomenal game. If you checked out our video, or my video yesterday, you would have seen that Joseph Woll really won them the game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We said the Leafs have a big decision to make going forward, and that is absolutely true. And it's almost elevated and highlighted by some of these comments by the Leafs players as well as their head coach. Let's get into the first comment here by Max Domi on Joseph Woll. He says, quote, "He really kind of reminds me of Carey Price in his demeanor. He's very calm and relaxed both on and off the ice. A big body and moves around, technically sound. I'm not a goalie coach by any means, but he's been outstanding." This is phenomenal praise from obviously a guy who's on the team. When your teammates are looking out for you like this, it really makes you wonder, obviously Sheldon Keefe probably saw this quote, and I'm wondering if that maybe impacts his decision to start Ilya Samsonov compared to Joseph tomorrow against the Washington Capitals. Obviously, Samsonov in tomorrow's game, that's his former team. So there's a very, very good chance that he starts that game, as some of you guys pointed it out in the comment section below. But Woll has been absolutely unbelievable, and he's getting comparisons to Carey Price, which is, we all know how good Carey Price was. And I mean, if you're getting comparisons like that, I want to see Joseph Woll play. I want to see him start, and I want to see him be at least given the chance by Sheldon Keefe to run away with that starter job. Whether that starts tomorrow against the Caps, it might not happen because, like I said, Samsonov is playing against his former team. So let me know in the comments if you want him to start tomorrow, or would you rather Samsonov get the chance to revenge himself and maybe get on the right track against his former team. But the way Woll has been playing, his teammates are looking out for him. Maybe it's finally time that Sheldon Keefe does too. And this is what Sheldon Keefe said following the impressive game against the Tampa Bay Lightning by Joseph Woll. Sheldon Keefe talking about Joseph Woll, quote, "pushing Ilya Samsonov. In practice this week, he was outstanding and competitive. He kind of sent a message to the group that he is hungry." Now, this is an interesting quote because he doesn't necessarily say one way or another whether Woll or Samsonov are going to be one starting the game tomorrow night, and we're not entirely sure yet. Let me know in the comment section if you have an idea or who you prefer, like I said, but Keefe gave some big praise here, and this is very important to do publicly, especially after the game and the career that Joseph Woll has had with the Maple Leafs. He obviously had a phenomenal brief postseason stint with the team last season, and now he comes in his 2 games, has been absolutely dominant, which we'll get to in a second, but he won them the game against the Lightning. He was one of the sole reasons, of course, alongside Matthew Nyes and William Nylander, but Woll's been that guy who Samsonov has struggled. Plain and simple, he's struggled. Woll's been outstanding. He's been pushing Ilya Samsonov, according to Sheldon Keefe. He's been dominating in practice. Woll and Domi's teammates are praising him. Like, what else does he need to start and try to run away or be given the opportunity? That's all I want, and I feel like that's all us Leafs fans want, is Joseph Woll to be given an opportunity to run away with this starter job. And if he ends up, not being amazing and maybe struggles a little bit, that's fine, but at least give him a chance to lose a job, because ultimately you have Ilya Samsonov, who in this case would be your backup goaltender, who I think Samsonov is given enough runway, enough leeway to start, get his feet a bit more wet from the start of the season. He'll turn into the solid goalie he's been for the Leafs over the past, last year especially. But if he's not given the chance, Woll that is, why? I want to see him given a chance. And looking at his stats, we all know what Joseph Woll's done, especially in the playoffs. But so far in his brief NHL career, 13 games, a 2.28 goals against average. This season, he has a 1.69 goals against average. Last season, he had a 2.16. Like, he's been very, very good throughout most levels of his professional career, and I just want to see him be given an opportunity to shine with this team, because he's also very, very fun to watch, which is an added benefit if he gets to start. He's very, very fun to watch, and he's an easy guy to root for. His teammates love him. He's a hard worker, and I just want to see him be given a fair opportunity. So let us know in the comment section below if you agree with me here, and if you think Sheldon Keefe will finally pull the trigger, or if they're going to keep riding with Ilya Samsonov, who has an above 4 goals against average this season. Again, not that Samsonov, this isn't to hate on Samsonov. I think he'll be a fine goaltender this season. I think if he gets his feet under him, he'll be good, but give me Joseph Woll all day, every day. But let me know, again, what your thoughts are on that. Let's move on now to Fraser Minten being potentially getting sent down. Fraser Minten is a guy who had a lot of praise, a lot of hype coming into this season. He obviously made the team out of camp and was one of the guys who surprised a lot of us Leafs fans. He had a phenomenal preseason, as we all know. And today, unfortunately, as practice begins shortly here in DC, looks like Fraser Minten remains the extra forward wearing a gray jersey. So it's a little bit unfortunate. Obviously, he's most likely not going to start in tomorrow's game against the Capitals, which is kind of the writing on the wall. And the writing was also almost on the wall last game when he didn't start again. And in his, brief playing time, Minten wasn't bad, but the third line unfortunately wasn't producing a lot with him on it, and especially, I would rather see Fraser Minten go down to the WHL, where he has been very, very solid, and just continue to develop down there, continue to learn, continue to grow as a player, grow as a prospect, so he can finally, and then come back up once he needs the call, once he gets the call, and emerge into the superstar that, or at least the star that he has the potential to be. Again, he was really good in the preseason. He stood out a ton. He secured a spot with the Leafs team, which was obviously a huge surprise to most of us, and we were all very excited about it. But ultimately, when he played on that fourth line, he's only getting 8 to 12 minutes a game. He's not playing on the third line anymore. He's not really playing on any of the team anymore, unfortunately, because he's getting gray-shirted. But he's a guy that, like we said, he had tons of hype. He can be a very, very good player. And it's not that he was necessarily horrible, not necessarily bad. It's that there's better options right now for the Leafs in this very moment, the way that they have been playing. And again, I would rather see Minten go down to the WHL, slowly develop, slowly learn, and become, develop. He's still very, very young. He's 19 years old. So him starting the season with the team is an accomplishment in itself. And unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out so far. Obviously, Camp slid up and the line played outstanding. So they'll probably send Minten back down to get more ice time, like I said. And guys like Camp are just, unfortunately, in the very, very current moment, the better option than Minten. So, shout out to Camp for that, but this is more of a Minten-focused thing. I just don't think that Minten is getting as much value to himself and value to the organization by only playing 8 to 12 minutes on the fourth line out there, where he could be in the WHL getting 20 minutes plus of ice time, learning, developing, and playing with guys who are, I guess, more similar to his age, as he's only 19 years old. But the bottom six is looking very, very good the way it is, especially since they, moved him out of that bottom six. So I think it's just the writing has been on the wall, which is a little bit unfortunate. We all want to see him succeed, and you always want to see young guys succeed, especially when they make as big of a splash that, as Fraser Minten did in the preseason. You always want to see those guys succeed at the, the major level, which is the NHL in this case. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does going forward, as well as what the Leafs do with him. The writing seems to be on the wall, but there is a chance that maybe they don't send him down back to the juniors, and he stays with the Leafs and performs well there. But that'll wrap up the video. Let me know in the comment section: would you rather keep Fraser Minten up with the Maple Leafs team, or send them back down? We can have a discussion. Your support has been unbelievable. We're pumping out daily videos for you guys, sometimes 2 times a day. So thank you guys so much for your support. And let's have a conversation in the comment section below about your thoughts on today's topics. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.